chew bubblegum.
You're listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum, recorded from a secret location in the city that moves mountains.
Greetings.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick.
Oh, yes. Yes, you have. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing a lot better.
Well, good. I am glad.
Seems like you and I took a little switcheroo.
Oh, yes. I mean, I have had a good day. It's just been a little bit busy at the cookie factory, but it comes and goes like that. Sometimes these elves just don't pay any attention, and Ernie does not do what he needs to do.
Well, that's just another reason. They're food workers. I'm not for this $15 an hour thing. No, $14.75 is fine, but not 15.
You're not going to go for that final quarter, huh?
No, but it's just a quarter more, sir.
Yeah. Pup was supposed to stop by. I actually forgot to message him yesterday in the podcast. And if anybody's not listened to the podcast episode that's up and going, please go check out Here to Chew Bubblegum episode 41. You will be amazed.
At about the 9-minute and 41-second mark, hold on to that listener email.
And we did get the show late, get it out late, and life happens sometimes, and I didn't get
Dan was hurting.
I didn't get to sound process the way that I normally do, because we had people, messaging asking about, hey, where's the episode at? And I want to hear the episode, so I just went ahead and put it out there. So you can't judge us by the quality of what we talk about.
The quality of content, not the quality of sound. We are amateurs.
There you go. Well, speak for yourself. Well, okay. Yeah, we are amateurs. We're going to go ahead and start out with some listener email. And this is some listener email that we did read on the podcast show. We're not going to read all of those. But, we have went a couple of weeks without doing listener email, so I want to get everybody a chance to be heard. And Brett from New Jersey says, hello, fine folks, and here to chew bubblegum. I'm a brand new listener and just started listening earlier this week. I discovered your website and show through TikTok videos. I'm very impressed, and I can proudly say that I listen to at least 2 episodes each day. Now, on to my question. When can we expect the interview with the representative from Ingersoll Lockwood? I can't wait to hear this interview. Best wishes and many blessings, Roswell. Thank you very much, Brett. Brett from New Jersey, for writing in. And we will be talking about that here on the radio show briefly in segment 1. And we have a little ear candy coming your way.
Sure do.
A preview, 2 minutes, 45-second preview of the upcoming interview, which will be dropping in a couple of different parts starting next week on the podcast, episode 42. Dirty Dan, why did we choose episode 42 to start dropping the DJ Nikki representative from Ingersoll Lockwood interview?
Because DJ Nikki and I are very much in line with that, and you were too.
Yes.
But Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, if anyone's familiar with that.
Yes, I am.
The answer of the universe is always 42. So for the first time publicly known interview, it seemed very fitting that the choice was either 41 or 42.
Well, hey, there you go. Real quick, off the top of your head, why is 6 afraid of 7?
Because 7, 8, 9.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much. You just took my punchline. Go ahead and tell us about your next email.
So a bartender walks in, or a horse walks into the bar, and the bartender says, "Why long face?" All right. So we have Timmy from Louisiana. Hello, Dirty Dan, the Barbecue Man. I know that you've been on the show a few weeks now, but welcome to the show. How do you like it so far? Keep the ear candy coming. Timmy, hello. Thank you for writing in. It has been, I've got several more radio shows than we do podcasts.
Yes.
That'll happen on the bigger jobs. But it's been a wonderful blessing. And to recap what I said on the podcast last night is, it's awesome getting to work with such a wonderful and genuine individual, as I call him, my cohort.
Well, thank you very much, my friend. You really do not know how much that means to me, and I will give you the $20 once we get this show wrapped.
I think $20 is $20, but you're still the better half.
Let's see. Unnamed from Planet 9 says, "Hey, Goose, I actually had one of my coworkers forward me a TikTok video from the Here to Chew Bubblegum profile. It's great that someone from Ingersoll Lockwood contacted you back. I can't wait to listen to it. You guys rock." Thank you very much, Unnamed from Planet 9. And yes, we do have social media pages. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have YouTube, we have TikTok. I'm trying to think. There may be one more. I'm not really. No, I think that's about it.
It's not a radio-friendly site.
Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And our TikTok videos, I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, I just posted a screenshot of what I posted on Facebook, and that has almost 11,000 watches, and then the other one is like over 3,000. So,
I mean, it's not much, but it's an honest start.
Yeah. I mean, well, the 11,000 is actually pretty good for a Facebook post.
We started from the bottom. Now
yes, we did. And I will be honest with you. I thought that once the Facebook post took off, because of what it was about, once I put the actual preview on TikTok, I thought this will double the watches.
The other way around.
Yes, I have found that out.
Yeah. See, as Goose, you should be flying south for the winter, but in order to understand TikTok, you got to fly north.
Oh, okay. Got you. So it's like a Bizarro World a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mixed with Dollyland.
Yes.
So,
got you.
We got Glenn from Kentucky written in. Hey, Goose and Dirty Dan. I just read that Apple will scan all iPhones for illegal child abuse images. While I understand this, I think it will start a movement in privacy issues. What do you guys think? I'll listen for your answer. Roswell, my friend, and if you want your answer, stick around for one of our segments, because I have the Kentucky breakthrough case that started all this, as well as a pushback on this security and privacy claims.
And we want to thank all of our listeners for writing in. I hope I didn't snort there. I have to go back and listen to that. I was just so thank you. Now I don't have to edit it. But I want to thank all of our listeners for writing in. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail. Keep it clean, and we'll play it on the radio, or we may call you back when we are recording the radio show. And we usually record the radio shows on Sundays or Mondays. But you can contact us at area code 606-373-3396. Again, that's 606-373-3396. And how can they email us, Dirty Dan?
Well, they have a couple different options. You can email Goose at heretotchewbubblegum.com. You can email Dirty Dan at heretotchewbubblegum.com. Our new addition is you can email Rebecca at heretotchewbubblegum.com. Or for PupNet and Elliot, you can email heretotchewbubblegum at yahoo.com.
Thank you very much, my friend. We're going to start segment one. We're going to talk again about Ingersoll Lockwood. I hope that the audience is just as interested in this as what I am. I had a guy today message me on Facebook, and he had just recently checked out the site, and he was talking about how out there it was, and I said, yeah, they pretty much updated in real time, because you'll go there one day and it won't be, it'd be something different, or you could go 5 minutes later and it will be something different.
Or you can literally sit with it open in front of you on 30-second refresh and watch it change in front of your eyes, as we did.
Yes, you can. But the whole Ingersoll Lockwood person and the website we find fascinating. We are going to go ahead and play this little TikTok video. And this is a preview of the upcoming Well, not necessarily. Well, it is kind of a preview. This is a mixture of the voicemail, him responding, us interviewing him. So just listen. You'll get the gist of it. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to start out segment one. We're going to talk about the Ingersoll Lockwood website. And Dirty Dan has something to say.
How do you get to Wonderland? Over the hill or underland? We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity.
And what Dirty Dan just read, you can find that at ingersolllockwood.com/QA.
You must type it. And
you must put /QA, because if you don't, you will not get to it. You said we should try to call him right now? Okay, we can try to call him right now.
You have reached the voicemail of Cyber Defense Media Group. Please leave a message after the tone. Thank you for calling.
Hello, this is Goose from Here to Chew Bubblegum. I'm here with Dirty Dan, and we do a podcast called Here to Chew Bubblegum. I have emailed you. Dirty Dan also emailed you. We would like an interview with a representative from your company. If you can please call us back at area code 606-373-3396 or email us back, goose at heretochewbubblegum.com. Dirty Dan at heretochewbubblegum.com. We would really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a great day, and please get in touch with us.
Yeah, hi. This is Daryl J. Nicky, or DJ Nicky, calling for Goose, or I'm sorry, I wrote the other gentleman's name down, Dirty Dan. Anyway, I'm calling on behalf of Ingersoll Lockwood. They've gotten your emails, and especially the last voicemail, and they asked me to call back.
Ladies and gentlemen of Here to Chew Bubblegum, myself and Dirty Dan want to send a very special welcome and thank you for our next guest, Mr. DJ Nicky, who is a subcontractor with Carbon Capture Shields, which is one of the projects that Ingersoll Lockwood Company is overseeing. DJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's awesome to be here.
Why can't we find much online about Ingersoll Lockwood, the person, other than the basic stuff? And there's not much of that there.
I don't know if he was an actual historical person or if he was injected into the timeline or injected into our history books, on a very thorough basis, because you can see he's listed, on the books of Hanover, the Kingdom of Hanover, as an ambassador, all kinds of stuff. So he definitely was a real person, but yeah, it's hard to find actual information about him apart from his own writings. And
welcome back. I could not tell you how many times I have listened to that little nugget of ear candy goodness. And again, I want to thank Mr. DJ Nicky for taking the time to doing the interview. That really meant a lot to myself and Dirty Dan. And don't forget, hits dropping when you hear this radio show. Be sure to go to heretochewbubblegum.com or Here to Chew Bubblegum
right away.
Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Anchor.
Any major broadcasting.
Yes, anywhere you find top quality podcast, you will find us there, and check out episode 42. Dirty Dan, I turn it over to you, my friend, to entertain us with the article you were talking about and someone asked about in the email segment there.
Well, that was mighty gracious of you, Goose, to turn me over to entertainment, but I
don't think I said entertainment.
You did.
Oh, did
to
I?
entertain us. Yeah, to entertain us.
I won't actually say that because I'll edit that out and they'll think, wow, Dirty Dan's crazy.
I mean, that's fine, because at least I'm not going to be set up for total failure. I just set a low standard.
Got you. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Dirty Dan, and he's going to inform us of this story.
Thank you, Goose.
You're very welcome.
So, I'm sure everybody has heard the latest and greatest announcement via Apple is that they are creating, which I found out through my research, extremely expensive tools for certain agencies to be able to use their software in addition to Apple's development to scan any Apple, iPhone, iPad devices so far, no computers, but just the iPhones and iPads, operating OS 15 and up, which is going to be released in October, I believe they said, for any crimes against child images. And a breakthrough case that actually finally caused them, because like we said on the podcast a couple years ago, they refused it.
Right. When you had the shooting
and that wasn't even a heinous crime as these that they're talking about against the kids. So,
right.
However, which this is not only the topic of the question, but answers one of the questions, is this article is titled, "What's Up with Apple? Pushback on Apple Privacy and Security Claims." August 6, 2021. On Thursday, we noted a claim that Apple Inc., NASDAQ AAPO, was preparing to introduce tools that can be used to identify child abuse images on iPhones and other tablet products. MIT professor and computer security expert Matthew Green was not entirely sanguine about the project. The New York Times Dead Book quoted Green. "I don't particularly want to be on the side of the child porn, and I'm not a terrorist. But the problem is that encryption is a powerful tool that provides privacy. And you can't really have strong privacy while also surveilling every image anyone sends." He got more company as the day wore on. The Electronics Frontier Foundation, or EFF, warned that Apple is, quote unquote, planning to build a backdoor into its data storage system and its messaging system. This is not something the privacy advocates like the EFF support. Apple, however, posted a webpage on expanded protections for children, introducing 3 new child safety features. First, new comm tools will enable parents to play a more informed role in helping their children navigate communication online. The Messages app will use on-device machine learning. Will use on-device machine learning to warn about sensitive content while keeping private communications unreadable by Apple. Second, iOS and iPadOS will use new applications of cryptography to help limit the spread of CSAM, child sexual abuse material, online. While designing for user privacy, CSAM detection will help Apple provide valuable information to law enforcement on collections of CSAM and iCloud photos. And the third update is to Siri and Search provide parents and children expanded information and help if they encounter unsafe situations. Siri and Search will also intervene when users try to search for CSAM-related topics. Apple noted that these features will be available later this year in the debut of iOS 15 and iPadOS 15, as well as the Apple Watches for Watch OS 8 and, hopefully, Mac OS Monterey. EFF acknowledges that child exploitation is a serious problem, but Apple's decision to bend its robust privacy protection measures to combat the problem is a choice that will come at a very high price for overall user privacy.
Do you have an Apple Watch?
No, they do not fit.
Really?
Yeah.
People can talk about, their right to privacy, and they do have their right to privacy. But when it comes to that stuff, I do not care to relinquish that right to privacy because, like we said on the podcast show, I have nothing to hide. Go through my phone. And if that's going to help one child, that is totally worth it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, but being both of us are fathers, it's man, that gets a whole sort of different kind of blood boiling.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. I am glad that Apple is going to start doing that because sometimes with not necessarily an Apple phone, but with some other phones, you can just get a gaming emulator and actually,
A what?
A gaming, like a gaming emulator. That's what these guys that are into video games, and you can.
Are those the goggles they wear?
No. This is like a computer program, and you can actually purge they call it purging a cell phone. Some of them you can actually go in and look like if they've deleted files and so forth like that with this. Now it sounds easy, but it's not. You have to be trained to do that, and I happen to know somebody that is trained to do that, and it's very, very time consuming, but it is a good thing, and just by being able to do that with Apple, I think will help children leaps and bounds, and it is well needed. Well needed.
Absolutely. So, the Android or Google phone side of things, has that already been a thing for them?
Yeah, you can purge Android and Google phones, and your what is it? Not necessarily your track phones, but like these smartphones that you buy that are
the $40 burner phones from Walmart.
Yeah, you can purge those pretty easy. Those are not hard at all because they're cheap and they don't have all the software and the firewalls and all that, and you can really do a lot with that. So
what you're saying is we're getting McAfee'd.
I guess, but hey, it's for the kids, so it's worth it.
Right.
So
absolutely.
I want to mention briefly before we take a break, and we're going to play a clip from the. Yes, go ahead, sir. You had your hand raised.
Yes, I have the breakthrough case. I just wanted to mention briefly about this.
Yes. Please do.
So this can all be found on KentuckyStatePolice.org, and this was cited or credited in the Apple release about what one of the benefits overall amass all of the other possible backlash they have would be. July 22nd of this year, 2021, the KSP Electronic Crime Branch located and arrested BJ Wood of Floyd County related to child sexual abuse materials found on his iPhone. That is when the push came to shove, basically, and the ICAC, which is their Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, basically went toe-to-toe and was ready to subpoena any and everyone that got in their way for obstruction of justice.
Right.
Because it took them just over a year of investigating this guy when it could have been done in a matter of a couple keyboard clicks or mouse clicks.
Right.
So the fact that he was able to get up to around 20 different unfortunate minors at that point, it could have been stopped with one.
Yeah. And my hat's off to KSP. Keep up the good work, and I am glad that they did not back down and they went up against a big company like Apple, and now Apple, you'll have police departments all over the nation that will benefit from this, and that is a very, very good thing.
One, and I know that a lot of emergency departments, be it any fire, police, EMS, but especially on the police side, 9 times out of 10, I see them with an Apple product in their hand, phone wise or watch wise and everything.
Yeah.
Now I know their laptops are usually like Toughbooks or something, but their mobile things and even some radios are Apple based.
Yes.
So
that's
a lot of money to lose if they piss the wrong people off.
Oh yeah. Yes. And I'm, like I said, I am glad that Apple, stepped up to the plate and is providing our first responders this access, when they need it, and it won't be like just calling up or being like, hey, I need this. No, you'll have to have warrants and so forth.
Yeah,
and,
there are definitely
all the documentation.
Channels. Yeah. The right channels have to be followed. However, is now a possibility to at least have it done,
and that is a very good thing because, like you said before, when they had something happen, in a different state and it come back. Some stuff come back traced to a store in Lexington. Apple told them, no, we're not cracking that phone for you. We're not doing anything. So,
I mean, maybe a lot of people at Apple feel like me, and I back the blue. I've been in the emergency management and services side of things. And we all got to stick together. But when troopers put on those hats, they intimidate the ever-living snot out of me.
You don't like the campaign hats, huh?
The chin strap, the pointed down, and I'm like, here's $100, sir.
We're going to take a break, and as we take a break, after the break, we're going to have a clip of some guys that stopped by in episode 41, and I'm talking about the podcast In Dark Places with Tracy and Junebug. And one of the things that I talked to them about was the Paintsville train versus UFO incident that happened January 14th, 2002. I've talked about that on the podcast show several times. I've talked about it on the radio show before.
Just once or twice.
And, that is East Kentucky's Roswell. That is East Kentucky's Roswell. And you could clearly hear it in the interview yesterday when I mentioned river subs. It was like a light bulb went off in Tracy's head. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to play a portion of that on the show. And when we come back, we will have some more highlights from the Ingersoll-Lockwood representative, DJ Nikki, coming up right here on Here to Chew Bubblegum. Take us out to break, Dirty Dan. How can everybody contact us if they want to?
Well, you can always call, text, or leave a voicemail as long as it's clean and it'll be played at 606-373-3396. You can email goose@heretochewbubblegum.com, myself, Dirty Dan at heretochewbubblegum.com, or Rebecca at heretochewbubblegum.com. You can also email Pupnet or Elliot at heretochewbubblegum@yahoo.com.
That is funny. After you said Rebecca, you almost forgot what to say.
No, I was going to say Rebecca of the short show.
Rebecca at heretochewbubblegum.com. We'll be right back.
When you want fresh, authentic Mexican food, you want El Picante in Coal Run. Dine on sizzling hot fajitas, the freshest pico de gallo, or if you're craving their secret ingredient jalapeno dip, the only place you'll find it is El Picante. Look, there are Mexican restaurants on every corner. The difference is in the mouth-watering food and the great service you'll get at El Picante in Coal Run. Visit El Picante for lunch today.
Hello, everyone of Here to Chew Bubblegum. Welcome in to a very special interview with the guys from In Dark Places. I'm talking about Tracy and Junebug. Welcome, guys. Glad you're on the show.
Howdy. Good to be here, man. Yeah, we investigated the CSX UFO collision thing.
All right. Now, that is one of my favorite subjects that we've talked about on the show locally. That is our Roswell. Yeah, tell me just a little bit about that, because I know we've talked in email months ago, and there might be stuff you don't want to mention, just stuff that you want to mention. Please tell me about the CSX UFO versus train near Paintsville, Kentucky.
We had heard about that. Kyle wrote about it in his second book, and one of our other members, he's no longer, he died back in 2013, Mark Corbin. He had investigated the CSX collision, and after he passed away, he had told us that's what he was working on, but he never did really run into anything. He talked to the yard master at the railroad yard, and he said, "Yeah, I can tell you that really happened. I saw the train limping into the yard that night." And so me and Chad and Kyle got together after Mark had died. We got to pick this up and see what he could find. And we couldn't run into anything. We found that yardmaster's best friend. The yardmaster himself wouldn't talk to us. He talked to Mark. I guess he got scared after he talked to Mark. And so we talked to his friend that hooked them up. And he said, "Yeah, I've known him all my life. That really happened." He wouldn't lie about stuff like that.
But he wouldn't talk to you all about nothing like that. What kind of vibe did that give you? What was your thoughts after, and I'm sorry, that your friend passed away, but you were picking up his work, his legacy, so to speak. And what kind of vibe did you feel? Sad that you'd hit a wall, or did you just keep going, or did something inside say, "I need to stop and just let this go"? What did you do from that point?
You could just sense a massive cover-up all around it, because everywhere we turned, everything was just too clean. We couldn't find any witnesses. Nobody had seen anything. And we went down and investigated the site. We used the UFO reporting center coordinates where they had the mile marker and everything. And we went down on the spot of where the collision happened, took a Geiger counter down and everything. It was years after the fact, but there could have been something.
Right. trace evidence still.
Yeah, it was just too clean. It's just all new gravel there. Everything was spotless.
All new gravel.
Yeah, it was. It didn't make a bit of sense.
So even years later, you could tell all new gravel. It looked different than what it had before.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it just seemed off, the whole thing.
What's your thoughts on that, Tracy? The CSX UFO Paintsville, Kentucky incident.
Well, I mean, I come in after the fact, after all this has happened, and I've just been getting what Junebug has been telling me, but he's pretty reliable. Him and Chad, I know him and Chad McKenzie both, and knowing those two, I mean, they're going to turn some stones, and if they're not finding anything, I'm a firm believer in, it's covered up, and for what reason it's covered up, I mean, well, why do they cover any of it up, really? So I'm pretty confident that it happened. But what's more convincing to me is that how clean everything was in the cleanup. Like you said, there's new gravel. That's just not a normal train derailment. I mean, you're looking at massive cleanup with a train derailment, but with something like that, it wasn't a massive cleanup. It was just a quick come through, clean it up. Everybody shut up. Nothing happened here. Look at this red light and we'll forget everything.
Yeah, definitely. As Junebug's telling me this story and the cleanup, and I could see his eyes, the excitement in his eyes, the hairs on the back of my neck were standing up, and they still are right now. Now there was did you, and you might not even want to talk about this. If you don't, that's fine, Junebug. But after your friend passed away, was there something shipped or sent to his wife that made no sense?
Yeah, that got into some really weird stuff there. After he died, they would not give him like an autopsy report or anything like for the family, and they said he had like a rare lung thing. And on Jesse Ventura's conspiracy theorist show, we saw an episode one day that they could like zap you and make you look like you had a heart attack or whatever.
Yeah. There's a supposed, well, that was Nikola Tesla's death ray, the heart attack stun gun, I think is what they call about it now. There is claims that is real and does exist, and that's what cost Nikola Tesla his life, when he was hit by the car.
Scary.
Well, and on top of that, if you remember back when the Russians put rice into the umbrella and stabbed the guy in the leg, and a couple of days later he had a heart attack from castor beans, which are very hard to find on a autopsy. It's really, if the KGB's using it, I mean, and it mimics a heart attack.
Yeah.
So, there's things out there.
A couple of months after Mark passed away, the governor of Kentucky, I can't remember who it was at the time, he sent his wife, his widow, a packet of congratulating her like on Mark's service that he did for the country and everything, and Mark was never in the military, so that everybody's like, what?
Now see, that right there blows my mind.
That's crazy.
I mean, he was never in the military. He never served in the military. What's your opinion on that? Did you guys, when you were doing your own investigation after he passed away and you went to the site, and after you talked to people, did you notice anybody following you around? Did you look over your shoulder? Is that something that you guys even did?
I was intentionally paying attention to that, if anybody would be following us around or anything, because Chad and his girlfriend at the time had been on their radio show. They had like power failures and stuff like that. It wouldn't be storming outside, and they would have, it sounded like their phone lines were being tapped and everything. You hear like the click. And,
right.
And, they would go out like to Walmart or whatever, and there'd be black sedans following them around, and it's kind of weird. But we never have, me and Kyle, we've never seen anything like that, people following us around or anything.
And again, everybody, be sure to check out In Dark Places with Tracy and Junebug and Seth's Daily Podcast with Seth and Tracy. Again, thank you very much, Tracy. It's been great having you on the show, and we look forward to having you back.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to come back. Had a great time. Thank you, sir.
Take a lighter look into the darker side of the world. Join Elliot Gertie and Beagle as they jump into the dark abyss of hauntings, fables, UFOs, and beyond. The Spooky Family Podcast. You can find them where you listen to quality podcasts.
You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum at 606-373-3396. You can also send an email to goose@heretochewbubblegum.com, Dirty Dan @heretochewbubblegum.com, or Pup, Ned, or Elliot @heretochewbubblegum@yahoo.com.
Welcome back, listeners.
And I want to thank Tracy and Junebug of In Dark Places. Great interview. We will have those guys back on, and hopefully both of us.
I'll do my dangest to not have to have an emergency and deal with that.
Hey, man, if it comes up, it comes up. But hopefully, after we have them back on again, hopefully we'll both get to go do some UFO investigating, like actually out in the field doing some field work.
Well, and my good buddy Preston, who's a railroad contact, he has some classic Sportster race cars that he likes to take tail of the dragon. So I think I could probably persuade him to meet us down here on his way down.
Let me ask you a question, and if you can't answer this, you don't have to answer it.
Okay.
You said his name. You didn't say his last name. Don't say his last name. What does he think about the whole Paintsville train versus UFO incident? And you can plead the fifth and talk to me off air about it if you can't.
I'll give the listeners enough, and then we'll talk off air about it. But he said it happened.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. Before we move on to the Ingersoll Lockwood highlight segment with Mr.
You got
DJ
something else
Nicky,
for us?
I have something else for you. Have you ever heard of the U.S. Invention Secrecy Act?
I officially heard about it about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Well, it was established in 1951. It was enacted February 1st, 1952, and it requires the government to impose secrecy orders on certain patent applications that contain sensitive information, thereby restricting disclosure of the invention and withholding the grant of a patent. Remarkably, this requirement can be imposed even when the application is generated and entirely owned by a private individual or company without government sponsorship or support. There are several types of secrecy orders, which range in severity from simple prohibitions on exports but allowing other disclosure for legitimate business purposes up to classifications requiring secure storage of the application and prohibits all disclosure knowledge. At the end of the fiscal year 2020, there were 5,915 secrecy orders in effect. And that was reported by the Patent and Trademark Office. Now, I do have a breakdown from the fiscal year of 2020.
That was just for 2020, or that was all of them listed to that point?
That was just for 2020. They had 5,915 that they have imposed the Secrecy Act on.
And do you know how many total were filed that year to see how much of a percentage?
I did not get that number, but
I'll look for that while you give the breakdown.
Okay. The new secrecy orders imposed in 2020 was 45. Now, even though there was 5,915, the different classifications, there was 45 that was imposed, and then there was 8 that was secretly ordered rescinded. So 8 got ascended. Now, Dirty Dan, how many do you think the Army imposed secrecy on in 2020?
Probably not as much as the Navy did.
You are correct on that. The Army did it twice.
And the Navy did it 8 times?
No, the Navy actually leads the armed forces in imposing the secrecy. But before I give you that total, the Air Force, 4, the Department of Energy, 6, NASA, 0, NASA and DARPA, 0. Now, this may astonish you. The Navy imposed the secrecy order that was enacted February 1st, 1952, 33 times in the physical year of 2020. Now, the physical year would start in like July 1st, 2019 to, June 30th, 2020. 33 times the Navy said we have to keep this secret. 33 times in the physical year of 2020.
And about 42 total between them all?
Let's see. Right at
Imagine that.
Right at 39 total. So, the Department of Defense imposed 6, and there is a special classification. These are individual people that are inventors that are seeking patents. Yeah. They're known as, this classification is known as the John Doe Secrecy Orders, and it's imposed on private investors. In 2020, the physical year, there was 21. It was imposed 21 times, which is down from the previous physical year of 2019, which was 48 times. So, there's a branch of the government that I did not know existed until recently. And I've had that bookmarked, and we're going to talk about it for a while. But I find that interesting that our government, and that says a lot, and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but the guy that invented the engine that runs off water, he never got a patent for it, and then he ended up mysteriously
disappearing.
Well, no, I think he actually had a heart attack. There was another guy that did it that disappeared.
Allegedly.
Yeah. The one guy we've talked about, I think we may have talked about him on the show before. I can't remember his name, but he was actually he was in Ohio when he passed away, when he was meeting with foreign investors in regards to his water engine.
That's not sketchy at all.
No, not at all.
I did get the total number of patents.
Okay.
Well,
now, is this the total number of patents or just the physical year total number of patents?
The physical year total was 352,469.
Wow.
Which was down 0.87% from 2019.
Okay.
So all this time we've spent locked up, and we got less creative.
Oh, yes, we did. Let's see.
I find it interesting, though, that 11,000 some out of those were filed by the U.S. government or some affiliation of.
Yeah. Now, in the physical year 2019, they had a total of 5,878 that were imposed. And it's basically went up every year. In 2016, it was 5,680. 2017, 5,782. Then it only went up by 8 in 2018 to 5,792. Dropped back, or no, it still went up. 58.78 and then 59.15 for the fiscal year 2020. If you want some interesting reading, be sure to just DuckDuckGo Invention Secrecy Activity, and you can definitely find some interesting facts there. We're going to now play the DJ Nikki Representative Ingersoll Lockwood highlights from the interview that you can hear now on
Teasers.
Episode 42 of Here to Chew Bubblegum. Did Ingersoll Lockwood ever meet Nikola Tesla? If so, when and where?
That's a good question. I don't know if he did. If he did, I would imagine it would have been at the 1890 World's Fair in Chicago, because that's where it was Tesla and Henry Ford and even George Washington Carver. That's where the inspiration for Henry Ford's Model T, that's where the inspiration for Henry T. Booker, his Tuskegee University, those World's Fairs used to be amazing beacons of hope for humanity. Whereas now the fairs are basically just commercial. But I don't have any direct evidence of them meeting, but if they did, I imagine it would have been at the Chicago's World's Fair.
Do you think you ever met John G. Trump? If so, when and where again? But, the tie with Tesla there, do you think that was a possibility?
Yeah, it might be a possibility. I'm not sure if John Trump was later, in years, because he might have been born around the time that Ingersoll Lockwood would have passed away in 1918. So I'm not sure, but it's definitely a possibility.
You're aware of the whole John G. Trump and Tesla connection, right?
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Trump's uncle was the scientist that was asked to come in and examine all of Tesla's papers once they were seized by the Department of Aliens or whatever it was.
Yes.
Alien is in foreign national, but
the Department of Alien Property, I think, is what it was called. And Dirty Dan and myself has always found it funny that when John G. Trump comes in, he spends like a day there, I think, and he says there's nothing of importance, and then you've got like 20 trunks missing that was never turned over.
Right. Yeah, that is very interesting. So who knows what they had before his passing, and who knows what was prepared,
Right.
In Ingersoll Lockwood's retirement years, did he spend that alone, and if so, why?
Well, it claims he was a recluse. He and his wife divorced, and then he spent his days, where was it, in New York, in seclusion. If he was a time traveler, then that's the perfect cover for making those journeys. So in my mind, great work. I'm a married man, and true great work and focus comes from solitude and isolation. And so isolating himself would have been to focus purely on some great work that he felt he was called to do. So that's why I imagine that he spent his retirement years completely alone.
That's an excellent point.
All right.
So what did he mean when he wrote, "The end has almost come. I'm only waiting for the signal to push off and begin my voyage to the Isles of the Blessed in the far western seas. I was troubled in my mind at first, for my little bark, staunch thought it may be, sat too deep in the water. It was overladen with conceits that wouldn't be current and merchandise that wouldn't be saleable in the Isles of the Blessed. Overboard with it. Now that I have lightened the ship, I feel better."
To me, and this is my own personal opinion, that sounds something like a time traveler would write. What's your thoughts on that?
To me, with what DJ just said about him being, secluding himself and getting ready for a journey or the great work. Is that kind of what you think, DJ?
Yeah, well, definitely. So he was saying, I was troubled in my mind at first, for my little bark, staunch though it may be, sat too deep in the water. So little bark, that refers to, back in those days, the Native Americans used to make canoes out of tree bark, out of birch bark, and they were called little barks, colloquially. So that's a reference to getting in a solo vessel. A canoe is for one person, but it was sitting too deep in the water. It was overladen with conceits that wouldn't be current and merchandise that wouldn't be saleable in the Isles of the Blessed. So he's implying, going to the afterlife, perhaps. But then when you read and by the way, that's page 17 if you look the book up on Google Books, that exact quote, which is no coincidence either. But I believe, it could be an allusion to either time travel or just saying, my time on this physical realm is coming to a close, and I'm lightening the load so that way it'll be smooth sailing into the great beyond.
Do you think that Ingersoll Lockwood was in fact a time traveler?
That's something that I wrestle with, because personally, my father was very scientific, and he taught me that time was immutable and only ran in one direction. The arrow of time flies in one direction. So I have a hard time accepting the concept of time travel. However, I recognize that my knowledge is based on limited knowledge. And so there could be things that I'm not aware of. So I personally don't believe in time travel, but I'm open to the possibility. And the story of Ingersoll Lockwood is perhaps, and especially what's going on the website, the IngersollLockwood.com website,
yes,
is the strongest evidence I've seen to date for the existence of time travel. Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. And I take my hat off to you guys as well, because it's people like you who are taking responsibility for putting out accurate information. So thank you guys very much for everything you're doing too.
You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail for Here to Chew Bubblegum at 606-373-3396.
Welcome back. Again, Very, very, very excited. Everybody, please be sure to check out the Ingersoll Lockwood interview. If you've not been to the website, it's IngersollLockwood.com. That is the company. And don't forget, you can access that special hidden menu screen, IngersollLockwood.com/QA. And very excited and looking forward to having DJ on the show again.
Yes, that man is an amazing, intelligent, diverse individual.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
It is. God, I'm so excited for that.
So we've got a few minutes left. We'll have open discussion. I understand that you recently saw a UFO story that you want to talk to us about. Please feel free.
Well, it's not even a UFO story. It's I have all these. I have this report from one over Lexington. Yeah, a little close to the barbecue pit.
Oh,
there.
yes. Please share that.
And you were actually on the phone with us the other night when Rebecca had asked what is that, and I thought it was a helicopter, and it was not. It happened Area Land 284.51, population class 8. So I guess it's a whole bunch of stuff we don't need to see. It was a triangle-shaped craft over Lexington, and all I could think of was the TRB-3.
Yeah, TR-3B.
TR-3B, because it had a bright red light that was flashing on it.
In the center, I bet.
Yeah.
Yes, my friend, you have definitely saw the TR-3B.
And that thing's a humdinger, I'll tell you that much. Holy cow. It was shaking the windows down. And I used to live near Willow Grove Air Force Base in Fort Indian Town Gap. And they still had Hueys up there, the old two-blade chops from
right.
Vietnam. And those things could knock a solid concrete wall down like it was a bunch of pebbles.
Wow.
And this thing put that rotor hit to shame. Son, I'll tell you what. I had to go check the fridge, make sure all the shelves were still in place, make sure everything was still in the shelves, nothing spilled over. The whole house just shook. And you could feel it hitting you.
Just, wow. Next time, Dirty Dan, if you see something like that, take a picture. Because, I saw some unidentified flying objects earlier in the year. They were triangle shaped, but they had all white lights. And there was several of them. And that was the first sighting that I'd saw since 96. And it had been quite a while. And I was actually really, really excited when I saw that.
Someone on the other side of Lexington, more north, actually also saw the second one. Now, it's in the back of this report, it said that when the solid red light went to disappear, it all of a sudden there was two of them that flew off together. And I think I found the flight path of the other one.
Were they going towards Richmond to the Bluegrass Army Depot?
It sure looks like it, because the other one came from the Frankfurt area.
Now, I don't know. There is some stories from the 70s that took place near the Bluegrass Army Depot. And, I'll have to dig around and pull some of those back out and share some of those with you. And one of them was actually cited by a Kentucky State Trooper who was a former pilot in the Navy that had I think he had over 3,000 hours of flight time.
That's just a couple little flights he took.
Yes, just a couple. Now, and it's what's funny about this is I think that I found this on blackvault.com, and it was a Inquirer article from the 70s. Yeah, I can see that there. Wow. But I've always said it's kind of similar to the movie The Men in Black. Where they read the tabloids to find out what's going on. That's where you get not all of your real news, but some of that news is real because they're not controlled by politicians,
right,
corporations, and they're able to, be more honest. So what's your thoughts on that? Have you ever thought about that, about the National Enquirer? Now, there is some clippings that have been saved by the CIA and FBI of stories from the Enquirer. on UFOs and so forth.
Well, what I found interesting was a little tidbit I found that about this whole long way to report on the UFOs from the NIC, that Dr. Robert Lauder, who is a space enthusiast, not from Kentucky, said that if you want to see some of the most credible reports on UFO sightings, you have to go to Kentucky. It started here in the last 5 years.
Well, I'm definitely. And what was that doctor's name again?
Dr. Robert Lauder.
I'm definitely going to check that out. I do know years ago.
Researcher of astrobiology.
I do know years ago, and this has been like maybe 10 or 11 years ago, I think that they said the safest place to be in the United States, it was like if we had like a major earthquake, like, West Coast, the middle one, the safest place would be Berea, Kentucky. That would be the safest place. Seriously, I actually read that. I'll have to try to pull that back up and see if I can find that again.
It looks like he's taken a job at UK now, actually.
Oh, really?
I might have to reach out to him here.
You'll definitely have to reach out to him because we need to get an interview with him.
Yeah.
So, but I want to thank everyone for listening, for contributing by email, voicemail. You can always call, text, or leave a voicemail by calling 606-373-3396. Or what else can they do, my friend?
You can email us, goose@heretotchewbubblegum.com, Dirty Dan at heretotchewbubblegum.com, and Rebecca at heretotchewbubblegum.com. Or you can email Pupnet or Elliot at heretotchewbubblegum@yahoo.com.
And do you want to plug Adventures with Purpose?
I would love to read my little spiel for AWP.
Please do that.
So there's a group of amazing people who have taken their talents and connections to the highest degree of self-service that they can to give back to those who need it most. Disclaimer, I am not sponsored by, I am not in contact with, I'm not being paid in any way, shape, or form to do this plug. This is just something that hits near and dear to both Goose and myself. If you want to look them up, go to youtube.com /C/Adventures with Purpose, or type in, if you have the app, in the search bar. And if you like what you see and you want to support the cause, want to help them, go to their website and help Sam and Jared and the gang out by, merch or donations, food, clothing, equipment. These guys are out in Oregon, and it's adventureswithpurpose.com. They are specialized divers that came together out from the West Coast, and they have brought, I think, over 130 missing persons cases solved since they've gone to YouTube in the last 2.5 years.
That is a very good thing.
They're not paid. They volunteer all their time and services and equipment. And they will literally leave their job for 6-8 months at a time at one point to travel across the country. And they were in Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, all around. And they don't like to leave until they find some sort of closure and resolution for the people who need it most.
The world needs more people like that, Pay it forward. If all you can do is smile at somebody, give them a smile,
And obviously there's no need to donate to them, but I can tell you, when they do stuff like that, even if it's $1, it helps.
Yes, it will. Again, that's adventureswithpurpose.com, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, I want to say special thanks to Carlin for all the voiceover work, CK Uncle Bill and the rest of the gang over at deadpit.com, Justin Perkins of Talk Junkie. Be sure to check out Down on the Holler with Jordan and Brad, and don't forget about Seth's Daily Podcast. Also, be sure to check out Elliot and the rest of his spooky family at spookyfamilypodcast.com. And if you want to awaken more, be sure to search and check out Rebecca Short on TikTok. That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
Maybe I'm not leaving. Maybe I'm just going home.
Thanks for listening to Here to Chew Bubblegum. Tune in next time as we dive deeper into things the government doesn't want us to know.